Okay. Yeah, what are we talking about? That's what I want to know from you. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about a lot of different things. Did you feel like we finished up with the church, or do you want to talk about diocesan stuff? Nah. Nah.
Maybe we should talk about the administrative process at the diocese.
Oh my God.
So when do they vote?
They vote in June, and I think it's the 15th or the 16th. I think it's early. So, yeah, it's early. We need to start adding a prayer, adding Daniel in the prayers.
Okay.
So just adding his name, not specifically for his ordination. He was really, we had a clergy conference this week, and that was really very interesting because he said, he always speaks first, and he said, the most interesting thing that happened to me this week was, and he showed a picture of a puppy. They got a puppy this week. And he didn't talk about his being put on the slate, which set the tone. It made it very clear he wasn't going to talk about it to anybody, and he didn't. So I imagine it's just very difficult, you know. And I think he's in a mode of not wanting to say the wrong thing and then, you know, being quoted for saying the wrong thing. So, at any rate. We did baptism. We've talked a little bit about history. I did baptism because Sandra asked to go through that. Because Sandra asked for it.
She hasn't been here for 6 weeks.
No, and she's probably not going to come back. She really wanted, the day you all did the men's prayer breakfast, she got offended when I said that she couldn't preach and do the ministry. She couldn't do priestly ministry here.
Well, I think you're right, but it was when you said you have to be approved to do that.
Right.
Which you did in the Episcopal Church too. So she was offended by that?
Yeah. Yeah, she said I was disrespectful and I disrespected her ordination. And that
You and I were both there. I was totally blown away that I didn't pick up on it.
yeah, she said I was disrespectful of her ordination, and she had never.
That's not your determination, is it?
No, it's in the canons of the Episcopal Church, and I have no. Go ahead.
Couldn't join our church, you
Can I
said.
give some of the back?
She
Yes,
didn't want
please.
to join our church. Oh, I thought she couldn't join our church because she'd lose her pension or something. Okay.
The backstory is she is an ordained minister in the Presbyterian Church, and she was in the Methodist before that, which she explained to us. But she has said, I can't join the church, I can't be anything within the church formally because it would jeopardize my pension. So both Mary Ann, myself, and Mary, who were involved in the email exchanges, were just, as you just were blown away that not only was she offended, but deeply hurt. And unfortunately, there was no room for reconciliation, really. I don't understand stuff like that.
She really expected to, even though she told me when she came in, all she wanted to do was sit in the chair and recover and to worship with the people and to just do ordinary things. That's what she told me. And she told me she wanted me to protect her pension and to protect her ordination. So that's what I did. But
And to the extent that I I did not know she had been a minister until she asked if she would come keep minutes in our committee meetings and sent me an email and it said, Reverend Sandra. And I was like, what's your Reverend guy?
Yeah. It was very, it was
Well, Jenna
painful.
asked me, because she was her friend on Facebook.
Oh.
She said, is she not coming anymore? And I said, well, no. I don't think she wasn't posting
Yeah.
anything about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, she said, I haven't seen her for a while.
Think about that meeting, this. And when I wrote mine, it was like this with little bumps in it. Hers was, whoa, 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 whoa. There's this high highs and deep lows, which tells you something psychologically about the highs and lows.
Yeah.
So it's
Hi,
it
Alan.
was sad. It was sad.
It is a
Sad
shame.
for us and sad for her.
It is a shame because she did have a place here. But she was not willing to be circumscribed by the place that she had. She wanted to be the pastor.
She wanted to be an assistant pastor.
No, she did not want to be an assistant pastor. No, she didn't. She wanted to be the pastor.
Wow.
She did. She wanted to be the pastor. Because she consistently told me what I should be doing and what I was doing wrong. Yes.
I seem to have walked in on something.
No, we were just talking about Sandra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that was all.
yeah,
I just wondering where she'd been.
yeah. And that's, she said I relegated her to a very small chair. So at any rate. But I think while she was here, she got what she needed. I really do. I think we were very kind to her. And I think she healed some while she was here. And I think we became part of her story. Huh?
Yes.
You think that's right?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good parts.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. Yeah. So, okay. Now, from Sandra was the one that asked for baptism because she was coming out of a Methodist tradition and did not understand baptism at all. I'm not really sure she really got baptism, got the understanding of it. And I want to know from you all, are you done with baptism? You all feel good with baptism, where we are with it?
You mean the difference between the way Methodists view baptism and Episcopal? That difference?
Mm-hmm. Or anyone. Yeah. I mean,
You
there.
said she didn't understand baptism, but you meant in the Episcopal Church.
She didn't understand baptism across the board, really. She said she didn't like the way she was baptized, and she fought against baptism almost all her life. She didn't want to be immersed she was raised Baptist, and so she was going to have to be immersed, and she fought against that until she was 12. And she did end up being immersed. But she didn't understand it, she didn't like it, she didn't want to do it, and therefore, anytime we brought up this baptismal font, she went berserk. And so she wanted me to explain what the purpose of that was. And I don't think she ever really bought into it. So, and therefore, and her understanding of baptism was very limited. So, and it never, as I heard her talk, it never shifted from a Methodist understanding of baptism to Episcopal at all.
And unfortunately, what I heard in her talk that day was she was literally beat into submission to do it. By her father.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then she had bad experiences in seminaries and schools, So it was, yeah, it is a shame. But huh? That's right. That's right. And that goes, that goes for everybody. Babies can be immersed, and they can be immersed, partially. They can be immersed fully. They can be, however parents want it to happen. Or they can be done just like we do now with water poured over their head. So, and I think that's, each one of those forms have a distinct symbolic meaning, and I think that to me is why that baptismal font is so important, and then the fact that we have to encounter it every time we come into the church. We run into it not literally. We don't fall into it, but we encounter it every time we come to church. We hear the water, and we are reminded of our baptism, even if we're not fully aware that we're being reminded of it. And so it makes our baptismal promises at the forefront of our thinking, even if we're not aware that they're at the forefront of our thinking. So when we go out and we respect the dignity of every human being. So it makes what we're doing, like with our project, it pulls the reason we're doing it, it's respect the dignity of every human being. We're living out our baptismal covenant with even the things that we're doing in ministry. That's the reason for it. It's not to spend money to build a building, okay? Or putting an elevator in the building. The same deal. Respect the dignity of every human being. That we're meeting those kinds of needs. Whenever you sin, repent and return to the Lord. So it's calling, even the baptismal font calls us to that sense of repentance. That if we've broken our connection with God, but by breaking a connection with another person, then that sound of the water calls us to task. That we've got to do something about that. We're not in this church by ourselves. We're in relationship with one another. So if I've hurt Mary, I'm obligated to do something about that. That I can't hurt her and let it be like that. And if I've hurt her, she's obligated to tell me that I've hurt her, because I may not know that. And a lot of times for us, we're afraid to tell the person who's done the hurting that they hurt us, and they may not know. So that sense of reconciliation, forgiveness, that has to happen. And that's what our baptismal covenant, that's why we say it so often. It's to keep those promises ever alive, to make us continue to remember it. Why is immersion the preferred form in the Episcopal Church?
Because you're dying and then being brought up in Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why didn't we do it for a long time?
Because it's too small.
Why did it get too small?
Well, that was before my time.
It's for my time too. But why did it get too small?
Well, Jesus was baptized in the River Jordan.
Yep. He was immersed. Right?
Is that the reason?
That's one of the reasons why we would do immersion. Okay? And if you look at early baptismal fonts in the early church, most of them are shaped either like crosses or like tombs. Did everybody here go down to the cathedral? Did you go on that field trip to the cathedral? Have you been down to the cathedral?
To Philly?
Philly?
Yes, I have.
Philly?
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Cathedral, their baptismal font is a straight box. It's a tomb. It looks like a tomb, and it's not my favorite baptismal font in the whole diocese or the whole of my experience. But that's one shape that was used in the early church. Was a tomb. You die to Christ and you're raised again. And it does have a bowl at the top that you can use for dipping your hand in and also for baptizing children. So it was, in the early church, it was either that box. Sometimes it was a cross so that you could walk down into it, be immersed, and walk up the other side. Which is kind of why, if you look at the drawings or the pictures that I keep bringing, it's got steps into it, okay? And it is that sense of going freely, choosing to walk into it, dying and rising. So walking in and walking out on the other side, okay? What's the octagonal shape? What's an octagon say? How many sides? Okay. So what does an 8-sided thing? Why 8? It is infinity, right? 8 is infinity. That's part of it. It's not all of it.
The 8 days of Easter.
Yes, actually, yes. Because Easter does have 8 days. Easter has an octave. Last week was the octave of Easter. Easter has 8 days. What else has 8 days? The gifts? The gifts, there's 7 gifts of the Spirit. Yeah, the piano has an octave. The 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit match what? There's 7 something else. 7 at the very beginning of the Bible. 7 days of creation. So 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, 7 days of creation. So what does the 8th thing be? 7 days of creation. 8th. What does the 8th day do? It begins again. Okay? So it's an 8th day of creation. Okay? So it's the new creation. Okay? So anytime you have an 8-sided anything, it's the beginning of creation all over again. It's restoring it's restoring creation back to the original idea that God had in the beginning. It's taking God's dream of what God expected to have happen with human beings and the earth and restoring it. Okay? So the 8th day of creation, that's what it is. Resurrection is the 8th day of creation. So anytime you see an octagonal shape in a church, that's what you're pointing to. How many sides does that have? 1, 2, 3, I can't count. 1, 2, so it has 8. So it's an octagonal. So that's what it's saying. This is the new creation. This is the eschaton. This is the heavenly banquet. Okay? That's pretty. Oh, you are so good. You are so good. I love those little poofy daffodils. You are so good. You are so good. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. What does 6 mean? What does the 6-sided figure? Because we do use 6-sided figures. Yeah. Is 6 7 you said was the holy number, right? Yeah. So is 6 complete or incomplete? It's incomplete. Okay. So why is 6 important? If 7 is the holy number and 8 is the new creation, what is 6? Bingo.
What did you say?
So it's death, okay? So if you have a six-sided font, you're talking about the death into you're dying with Christ and then being raised up, okay? But it's not as clear as the eight-sided form is, okay? But you'll see six-sided baptismal fonts as well, okay? Early church primarily used either round or crosses or tomb-like things, okay? So they used immersion. Now, why did they get away from immersion? You should know this because I talked to you guys about this. What happened in 315 AD? 313 AD? Lots of politics, that's right. Who? No, the temple was destroyed. You know when the temple was destroyed. Don't you? When was it destroyed?
I don't remember any.
It was destroyed in the 1st century, remember? Remember? You remember?
I don't know exactly. I want to say 60 something.
You're really close. It was destroyed in 70. It was 70. So, and that was when the Jewish people kicked the Christians out. So they would no longer let the Christians come into Jewish circles because they blamed the Christians for causing the trouble with the Romans. If the Christians hadn't been talking about this Jesus guy, then they wouldn't have had the trouble that they had. But the Jews had the Masada stuff. All the Masada things were happening right around the same time. The Jews were having trouble with the Romans before Jesus and before the Christians came around. So the Masada, it was a Jewish encampment, and it was a great big tower that Jews lived in. So it was, and it was a. So I don't want to say like a castle, but it reminds me of medieval castles, where a whole town lived within this walled city.
So is the Masada an abbreviation of Masada?
No. Masada is like the name of the town. Okay, and so. The Romans were out to kill all the Jews. So they were driving them out of Jerusalem. They were tearing down the temple, and they were going after the people that lived in Masada. And the Jews locked themselves in the Masada. And they had stores of food and water and all of the things that they could live on. And they were armed well enough that they could defend themselves over the walls of the encampment, and they survived, months of defending themselves against the Romans. Okay, and eventually the Roman army got so big that they knew that they were going to break through. They were going to break through the doors, and they were going to come in and were going to kill the Jews. And when they came in, all the Jews were dead because they killed themselves. So that's Masada. Happy story. Happy story. But that 70-year time frame was a tumultuous kind of time frame because Jews at that point, then they were dispersed. And it was, remember, they were dispersed by the Assyrians. They lost the 10 tribes back in the 400s to 600s. The Assyrians took those 10 tribes away, and they got dispersed among all of the peoples. So they never found those 10 tribes ever again. The 10 tribes never regathered, okay? They just got assimilated, all right? And then Jerusalem and the places around Jerusalem stayed solid. Do you know why? Where's Jerusalem built? No, the opposite.
Because it was a walled city.
It was a walled city. And Jerusalem is up on the hill. And why could Jerusalem survive and Masada not survive? Why was it defendable?
Probably because it had water flowing through it.
Bingo. It had water. It had water not through it, but just outside of it. And they built underneath of it, they built aqueducts that they could go under the walls of Jerusalem, and they could go through those tunnels to get the water and then come back through and supply water to the city. And had they not had that, had they not been able to get outside the walls without going through gates or the portals, then they wouldn't have survived, okay? So God does miraculous things. And where was the temple built? It was built in the center, up on the highest part of it was built on the highest mountain, okay, in the center of the city. And it was, when the Assyrians came, they took the upper part of Israel. They took the northern tribes. They could not defeat Jerusalem. So they didn't take Judah, and they didn't take the other tribe. Okay? So there were two tribes left. And then the Assyrians came in, and not the Assyrians, the Babylonians came in, and they took those other two tribes. And basically they were taking the people that were intelligent, wealthy. They took the crafts people, and they took the priests. And they kept them there for 70 years until the Persians conquered them. Okay, and then King Cyrus sent them back to Israel. So the second temple was built. Where was it built? Exactly the same place. Okay, so did you watch any of the news last night? Did you see any of the drones coming in this morning? Did you see the Golden Dome? Anybody see the dome?
Were they charged?
They were not. They were not. That Golden Dome is now the dome of a mosque. Okay, so that where the temple sat, it now is a mosque. It's a Muslim mosque, and the only thing left of the temple is one wall. It's the Wailing Wall, and men can go there and put prayers in the wall.
I've done it.
Have you done it? What was it like?
There were a lot of people there. I'm sure there are every day,
Mm-hmm.
24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Some was kind of strange, and I didn't feel that I really had the right to be there, but, it was a tour group, and that's what we did. But it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Lots of Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jews with forelocks and prayer shawls and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they lived there or if they were tourists too, but
Right.
lots of that.
Right. Right. Did they pray standing up? Did they pray?
I think everybody I saw was standing up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big plaza
Mm-hmm.
that was crowded,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but a scattered number down by the wall.
Right. And that does happen every day. And the prayers that you put in the wall, they come by and take those prayers out. so that other people can put prayers in. And then the rabbis are responsible for praying those, praying for the people
So
that,
the prayers they've taken out, they do, somebody prays.
they pray for those intentions that were left there.
They continue to do that at the Vietnam Wall.
Do they really?
What'd you say?
They do that at the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, that if you put a flower or a note in the crack or whatever, they're retained at the Smithsonian Institute.
And
I would
go ahead.
also say that, I'm thinking it was at the Franklin Mint, but I'm not sure,
Right.
that seeing that block had
Yeah.
kind of the same effect on me that Jim described, that I was in awe of that.
Right. Because we did go down to see the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I think it had the same effect on me.
And I think I told you this, but I think you will. It was too much for me, but the Bible Museum, it just, I mean, to me, it would take a year to be able to absorb it. But
Down through those
pretty amazing.
I need to ask you, do you want to participate and go down with the deanery to the Bible Museum? Oh, it's on a Monday.
church we're gonna go. It looked like just a group from wherever.
Well, it's Kevin Delaria is the dean for the Brandywine Deanery, and he is really working hard to get the deanery all together, to do things together. And, he wanted people to sign up if anybody in any of the churches in our deanery wanted to go.
We were just there, and it was
Uh-huh.
amazing. I
Yeah.
barely can't see it all in one
If,
day.
if some of our people would go, but I'm not gonna go by myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll keep asking, and then if there's some people going, then we'll get it.
It's in May, right?
Yes.
20th.
Yeah. It's in the later part of May. So basically in Jerusalem now, there you have part of the temple in that Wailing Wall. That's the wall of the temple. Okay?
So the building, the dome of it is now a mosque.
Is a mosque. That
How long has it been that?
it's been that I don't know exactly how long, but it's been that for a lot of years. Because when Jerusalem was taken over by the Muslims, okay, the Jerusalem was as holy to Muslims as it was to Jews. Okay? For Muhammad, first it would have been Mecca, then it would have been Medina, because that was where they went and established the law and the rules. That was where Muhammad was more accepted and wasn't kicked out. Okay, in Mecca they have that square box that's why you turn to Mecca, but Medina was where they really established the religion. Okay, and then Jerusalem was the place, because that was the place of Abraham. Okay, even though Abraham wasn't in Jerusalem, that was the home of Israel, and therefore that was the important place. So that and when Muslims took that area, they built the mosque.
Didn't you say that the keeper of the door of the temple was a Muslim?
So when you see that dome, when you see the gold dome, you might think that you're looking at the temple, but you're not. You're looking at the mosque. Okay? So to say that Arabs and Israelis can't live together, it's an oxymoron, because they do. They really do. They have the same worship space. So it's, So to see those drones go over top of it, it was something to me anyway. So okay. Anything else? Can you think? I'm willing to do Episcopal 101. Bud asked me to do it. Sander asked me to do it. But I don't want to do it if we don't have things to talk about. So, what do you want? What's your pleasure?
I enjoy it, but I don't know what the curriculum should be.
Okay.
You know, I had suggested to you the religions of the world and specifically native religions, but we've done that. I guess that I enjoy them, but I don't know what to say to do.
I have been looking at books on the book of Revelation because several people had come to me and asked me questions because there had been a lot of television advertisements about the rapture and misinformation about what all of that entails. And all of that is a bunch of bunk. Okay? It really is. It really is. Anything that you read about the 144,000 and anything that you read like that is not the book of Revelation. And therefore, studying about it and thinking about what it really is about, it could be interesting, particularly since we're coming into the election time, and that whole talk about renewing the face of the earth and going through Jerusalem and all of that is connected into that Revelation language. So the political language right now is connected into the Revelation language. I don't know if you know that or not, but it is. Do you know that? You didn't know that? Right, but it is. It's all connected in. That's why the embassy was moved to Tel Aviv. That's why the embassy was moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. A few years back. Because all the nations will stream through Jerusalem. So the rapture is coming, is what is believed by Christian nationalists.
Well, also just because the current Jewish state feels like that's the center of Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jerusalem, not Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
Tel Aviv is just a town.
Mm-hmm. But it was moved by Christians in this country because of the book of Revelation and because the rapture is coming and it's going to go through Jerusalem. Christians are going to conquer. Doesn't have anything to do with Judaism.
What does rapture mean?
Didn't the Israeli government decide to do that, or is that because of pressure from the United States?
Pressure from the United States. Pressure from the United States. And so what rapture means is that Jesus is going to come and take the good people to heaven and leave all the bad people here, and there'll be years of war.
That's how that Dennis Lehane novel, the first one, starts.
Right. So,
We all become bad people, so we continue to live.
well, you don't really live. I mean, you know, you're in war and you die a lot. There are a lot of people that die. So, but, and, you know, if you believe 144,000, then, you know, it's a very restricted number of who's going to make it and who's not. You know, so, and all of that is a bunch of bunk. You know, 144,000 is, what is 144 if you multiply two numbers together? What makes 144? 12 times 12. How many apostles did Jesus have? How many tribes are there? 12. What's 12 times 12? 144. Okay, so you have 12 apostles, 12 tribes, 12 times 12 is 144. Anytime you add zeros to things, you're making it infinite. Infinite. So you add 144 for all of the Old Testament, all of the New Testament, and you make it infinite, and then guess who goes to heaven? Everybody. Okay? So to say it's an exclusive number, it's a bunch of bunk. Okay? And therefore, when we interpret, you know, there's a lot of mythological language in Revelation, and we interpret, you know, what's the beast? Well, do you know what the mark of the beast is? Anybody know? Oh, yeah, an upside down 666 across your head. Now, the Jews used to wear on their head a tefillin. They used to, you know, Yep, right here, and it was a sign of who you are. It's a sign of your identity. Okay, and so the mark of the beast is you would wrap three pieces of what's it called when it's a dead animal? Leather. Three leather pieces around your arm, and it ends up making an imprint on your arm. That's the mark of the beast. Okay, so it's not this fancy schmancy. It's part of the Jewish culture. Okay, that's taken over and put in a Christian book and turned by people who want to scare other people and by fanatics into something that is not what it's meant to be. It was never meant to be that. It was always misinterpreted. Okay? So Revelation is one option. Looking at the book of Job is another option. Looking at the liturgical seasons, because we've not done that, is another option. Anything that you particularly want to study is another option. So do you want to think about it and then let me know? Or taking time off is another option.
Well, you're going to go away.
I am going to go away. I'll be in Chartres. So I'll be in Chartres from June 7th to the 22nd, and then I'll be in Kentucky. And I'll be touring Kentucky, looking at labyrinths all over Kentucky. So I added a little second part to my sabbatical. So.
And then it's going to be summer.
Mm-hmm.
Is summer a good time or a bad time? Because
Usually I end them during the summer.
I'll be here to make coffee.
You are not.
you silly.
So you want to, what I'm asking is we've dwindled down to this number. Do we want to continue it until Pentecost, or do we want to stop? I'm happy doing it. I love doing it. I'm here anyway.
I would say stop until, looks to be like September-ish.
Okay.
That's just me.
Okay. Then I'm giving you homework. What I would like you to do is I want this to be an adult forum, a real adult forum. I want you participating. I don't want it necessarily all to be me presenting. I want you participating in it. So I need to know what you're interested in, what you want to learn, and what you will learn. Okay? Because if you sit there and you take in information and then you forget it immediately.
That's how my brain works.
You know, but I love doing this. So, you know, if we want to do history, if we want to do liturgy, if we want to do, you know, conversation, if we want to do Bible, if we want to do, how do we live in the world? How do we spread the good news? Anything like that. And I can find whatever. You don't have to find the resources, but you just have to tell me what topic you want to do it on. Okay? And I would like to know what you want it on before I go to Chartres, because then I can spend the summer thinking about it and praying about it and reading and working on it. Okay? And then if you don't do it, I'm going to pick something boring. Okay? All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. No, I won't, because boring would bore me to death. Hey, hey.
Came to the men's breakfast yesterday, so I see who has the latest.
Hey.
Are we Reuben?
Which one?
Or no?
I don't care.
Okay.
Ask Mary what she wants to do. I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I don't care. I don't care. They said I shouldn't say this to you. They said I shouldn't ask you this, and I said, oh, you're stupid. So I need to know, what did he do to you?
He pumped me as usual.
David.
If he stopped it, I would worry. That would mean he stopped loving me.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
the Eucharistic minister. Ooh, almost took your glasses
Ow.
off.
Then I wouldn't be able to see.
We're working on the columbarium, and we need to know how big. We need to know the dimensions of Phil's.
And you did ask me that,
Okay.
and I forgot. I'll measure
Okay.
it today.
They told me, oh, it's too soon to ask Reba the dimensions of Phil's urn.
sitting in
I
my
said,
living
you people are stupid.
He's sitting in my living room.
I said, you really are dumb.
He sits on my bed.
Well, I told him.
He flies across my car.
Oh, I
He's a
had
dumb-
a horrible dream. I dreamt, Andrew wasn't in it, but I dreamt he was dying. He was in a car, and he was dying, and we couldn't find him. And we knew he was in a car, and we knew it was like running into mountains and water, and and we couldn't find him, and I didn't know where he was, and oh, Reba.
That's a nightmare. That's not just a dream.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
I-
Normally, I don't remember them, but boy, I
Oh,
remember that.
Yeah, yeah. I've been really fortunate. The dreams have all been very comforting.
Oh, my
I
God.
keep telling Andrew, don't. I didn't send that one to you.
I know you
via
didn't.
Andrew.
Well, I don't know why. I think because I'm upset. I think it's because I'm in turmoil.
Yeah.
I'm in turmoil about a lot
And
of
that
things.
carries over into your sleep.
Yeah. Oh, it does. And I think it's just the churning of a lot of different things, and I think it came through that way.
Oh yeah.
But I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him. Didn't know where he was. I kept calling for him. Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him.
That's a rough one. I don't even have dreams like that. I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
Well, I've never haven't dreamt about him. You know.
I know, but this is almost worse because he wasn't in there.
He wasn't there.
But in a way, he was.
He was. He was
But
gone.
you couldn't
He was
find
there,
him.
but gone. Yeah. And I was trying to find him because I knew he was gone.
Yeah.
I couldn't find him. So,
But it is
anyway.
not too soon to ask me that. You asked me before.
Oh.
I just forgot.
I know it's not too soon.
But I will definitely do it today.
Okay, because what we're trying to do is get a sense of who has what size urns, so that we can get a sense of what size niches we need to have.
Yeah.
Because
Hi, sweetie.
each niche needs to fit the urn, and probably Phil's is going to be the longest and biggest, and so we have to accommodate that. And so,
And I know you want to keep the ashes together.
but whatever you want to do,
Okay,
however you want to do it.
I'll give you the measurements of that. If that's out of sync and we need to do something else, I'm fine with it.
No. I want to measure that. I'm going to not keep my ashes or Ken's ashes or Andrew's ashes together, because I'm going to bury some down in Kentucky. Don't tell anybody that. But we've already got grave sites down in Kentucky,
Yeah.
and they're next to my mother and father,
Oh,
and across the row from my godparents and my grandparents. So
that's a no-brainer.
but I want some of it here.
Yeah.
I want some of me here.
Yeah.
So don't tell anybody I'm splitting them.
That's your sale.
But I am going to split.
New people?
I don't know. I don't want to talk to.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to no new people.